So I think it's important to stop and take a breath or take awareness of your breathing, because it's the foundation of everything. It's taken me 50, something years to figure it out that breath is the source of life. And so why not stop and pay attention to the source of life periodically or regularly if you can.
Alan, have you seen student athletes incorporate breathing techniques into their lives?
Yeah, it's amazing. Across 21 sports, we have tennis, golf, rowing, football, basketball, and for every team, every staff, there's a different approach to fitness, nutrition, well-being. There's some overlap, but we have sports psych, and I'm amazed at how much one thing is consistent is that breathing is become more and more an important topic for student athletes to master, to pay attention to. We were talking to a coach candidate the other day, and he was talking about the mental game, right? So he says, well, we do this, we do that, but we spend a lot of time in the mental game. And I go, well, what's the mental game about? And it's like, well, we just prepare for a competition, and we rehearse scenarios and situations, and the main focus of it all is to slow it down and to breathe through the experience so that when you're living it, you have a natural, home base to return to, which is your breath. Right. That deep, slower breath is a cue to the brain, right? A signal that says, we've been here, we know this, let's activate these sets of, decisions or what have you, as opposed to overreacting.
Scrambling and trying to figure it out.
Right.
Is there somebody on staff who helps student athletes with this? Is it a team trainer, or who actually works?
It varies.
It does vary?
It varies across teams. Sometimes sports psychologists are doing, team-wide activities. You have the strength and conditioning coaches. Sometimes teams bring in specialists, whether it's to do workshops, folks are doing yoga or all these different kinds of things, and understanding how to exert a move on an exhale, how to recover, whether it's like I say, yoga or other kind of stretching, dynamic, stretching that, back in the day we used to do the
push-ups, the calisthenics.
Or even stretching is you kind of doing pushing yourself down further and further, whereas now it's more dynamic. It's like you're walking and you're lifting your leg up and you're holding it, and it's all breath related. And you see, if you watch the way people warm up now, they don't do cherry pickers like we used to do, right? Because that's actually doing damage, right? But now they're doing the stretches, or they're doing the movements, and they're aligning it with breath, right? And maybe they don't understand that that's the source of life, and breath is you're making that connection, but they are seeing that it's very essential to just about everything you do, and that when you're panicking or something's like a timeout has happened, you can see a coach, for example, in basketball, you have something bad happens on the court, and if you ever I started paying attention to this, they'll call a timeout, and the coaches, they'll actually huddle off to the side themselves, and the trainer or a manager or somebody else will get the team together, and they're hydrating and that kind of thing, but they're also been trained in practice to pay attention and focus and get down regulate the breathing, and now of course the coaches had the opportunity to get it together and figure out what there's to say, but now they come in, it's a different conversation. And I had a chance to sit with someone who was very experienced with athletics, and they were watching a coach who was not like doing that. That coach was, as soon as they got timeout, they
Start
rush over to
sparking
the
right away
game,
before they do.
and there's nothing is going in, and nothing is being
Right.
captured.
I had
So
never
it's a
thought of it that
different,
way.
Yeah,
Really? Yeah. It's a great.
It's
great
a really,
thing.
because I always thought, and then maybe that is what they're doing, is the coaches were off there huddling because they're figuring out the X's and O's of what to tell the player. But it's that simultaneous moment, they're giving the player the opportunity to just slow down, relax, and then be able to take the information and not have it just be barked at them where they're still in hyper mode of playing.
And it's how you breathe. It's breathing correctly. It's a
Right.
deep breath from the abdomen, not the short, fast breaths from the chest, the shallow breaths. And that's what centers you.
Yes, absolutely, because it's the parasympathetic nervous system where the slower you breathe, particularly the slower you exhale, the more like control you're going to have on your heart rate, on your blood pressure, on the flow of the lymphatic system. All of that stuff happens with slower breathing, right? And so, and the cool thing about it is, like, I was just at a basketball practice a couple days ago, and here we are in the month of June, and they're on the court practicing and running sprints and that kind of thing, and the coach is like pausing and giving them a breath. When we always think, okay, take a breath, get your breath,
right?
But they were literally like, okay, like, stand up and let that air kind of go and breathe deeply, and then now let's do the next piece, right? Well, now fast forward to March or February when everything's on the line, that timeout they built on that over time. So that deep breathing is not just like take a breath, catch your breath.
It's learned.
So they're building on it so that in 6-7 months or however months down the road,
That is hugely, hugely important, because it's like anything else. The more you practice something, the better you get at it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you can literally, we've done this. I'm not going to ask you to take a deep breath.
We literally, on a previous podcast, we did. He walked me through a breathing exercise.
And we did it.
It was awesome.
And we did it. And I that one breath, I was literally in another dimension.
He was. Like, I could physically see that something he just looked noticeably calmer in that exact moment.
And that's what we want when we're performing. We want calmness, stillness, right? And then life is easy, simple, clear.
I think for a lot of people who, especially people our age, where this wasn't so much taught when we were younger, it seems like this almost mysterious thing. I was going through a blood pressure challenge myself and started doing some guided breathing. It's like a meditative breathing technique, meditation, and it's really easy. Like, I would have thought it would have been something that I would have to learn how to do, and I wasn't going to be very good at it and all those things. It wasn't hard at all. And there's a lot of great stuff out there for people who want to start finding ways to incorporate this into their lives.
Yeah. So, right. So we say stop and take a breath every once in a while, but obviously we're breathing all the time.
Sure.
But it's really about stopping and paying attention to your breathing.
Right.
And so when you're aligning your consciousness with the very vital essence of your being, only good things can happen. I'm amazed, like you say, at how simple it is, but how profound it really is. And being able to make the connection and that awareness, I think, is invaluable. Some of my own like therapy, treatment, and healing that I've gone through is really paying attention to like the in-breath, and sort of like paying like on the in-breath, just making sure that it's deep, right? And that the out-breath is slow. Right, and then this little routine, like in-breath slow, in-breath deep, out-breath slow, and then the next one is about focusing on calm. The in-breath is about calm, so it's in calm, out ease, and the third one is in smile, like smile to yourself, to your body, and out one is release. So ease is just like relaxing, but releasing is like letting go of pain or whatever. And then the last one is about in focusing on the present moment, and then on the exhales on that the present moment is a wonderful moment. And so it's just little 3-4 breaths that
Little
you
mantras.
take. Yes,
Little mantras
it's called a mindful,
incorporated within the breath.
mindful
That's cool.
pause. Yeah,
Mindful pause.
Mindful pause.
That's cool. I
And,
love that.
Yeah, and so just being able to kind of like incorporate, it didn't have to be, it could be spiritual, religious, whatever, but it's just really, that's the science behind the fact that what your brain does with that breathing, like, yeah, there's research that shows that it's, all the benefits and effects, and most people don't get the opportunity to make that connection.
Paul knows this about me. I grew up in San Pedro, blue collar town, and I always, when I hear things like this, I always go to my buddies and I'm like, man, are they going to think this is really granola? And, and I think the answer to that is going back to sports. If you are a young athlete and you do want to be elite, everything you just described is one little part of helping you to become that elite athlete. And so if you kind of look at it from those terms, then it takes the granola out of it, right?
Right, yeah.
Because it's just good stuff that we should all incorporate in our lives and start to accept.
Messi does that, or somebody
exactly.
great does that. So okay, I'll do it, but
that's why it's interesting to see big athletes now talk about meditation and things like that, because again, it works. And their platform of talking about it helps other young athletes coming up who maybe weren't being raised in households where information like this is readily available. So it's just important that we keep talking about it and thinking about it.
Yeah, good.
And he's the huge guy on this topic.
Yeah, no.
Huge. I call people out all the time. Because it's so important to just, because they're not aware. They say things, they're not aware of it, or they do things, they're not aware of it. But if they're doing and saying things out there, then they're probably doing the same thing in here, which is not healthy, may not be healthy. And the breath takes you right back, you said it, Alan, right back to our essence of being and our foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, when I realized that, is like, again, I'm not afraid. Anything, I'm triggered. My mind is set to like crisis or something serious. Breath. Like, I don't like sometimes like, what are we gonna do? Like, kids like, Dad, we're gonna breathe. Right? That's the first thing we're gonna do.
Everybody stop
and even if
breathe.
that's like buying time to make up something or come up with something, so be it. But you know what? Whatever you come up with is gonna be all the more sound and rational and. Yeah, because breathing up here is like fight or flight, and down here is just like wisdom.
Because you said it earlier, the body listens to the mind.
Yes.
And what we're saying.
Right.
The body will respond.
Right.
We're just so fortunate that that's becoming more and more commonplace. Yeah. And again, if we were doing this like 30, 40 years ago ourselves, like where would we be? Who knows? Or, but see, taking a breath on that, right?
Take a breath.
Yeah,
Take a breath.
But I'm glad to just have discovered it, and
we'd be at peace, baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's very high way of thinking about it, but there would be more peace in the world if people would just stop and breathe.
100%, 1000% correct. Yes. People don't breathe. But let's listen to what we're saying, because it matters, and the elite athletes are doing it all over the place, and it's making a big difference in not just their performances, but in their lives.
Yeah, I'd hate to be cliche about it, but it's a game changer.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
This is the part where we're supposed to tell people to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay, will you please do that then? I mean, if you enjoy it, please do.
And if you don't, do it anyways, because we need your help.
Yeah, we do.
Also, we have a website called GameChangeNation.com. Just go there and subscribe, and you'll get tons of free content.
And what we're really trying to do is create a community of people that love sports.
Yep.
And the great lessons that we learn from sports, but we want to hear from you.
We do. So we're going to have a bunch of social media pages, from TikTok to Instagram to Twitter to Facebook. Instagram, I probably already said all of them. Please join them and tell us your stories. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, and we wrote a book.
Oh,
Forgot about that.
Forgot that.
The book is called Through the Tunnel. It's available on Amazon now. If you go straight down here to this link that you can see below us, you will be able to purchase it. We'd love it if you could do it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.